In this episode, I'll be sharing how to manifest your best year yet. So let's get started. Hi, I'm Katie, and after many years as a struggling single mum, I transformed into a highly successful manifester with multiple businesses, better relationships, financial abundance, and way more peace, joy, and happiness in my life. Each week, I share the real secrets around how to manifest successfully, as well as the amazing and sometimes crazy lessons I've learned along the way, so that you can apply it all to your own manifesting, transforming your life from the inside out. This is That Manifesting Podcast. Welcome back to That Manifesting Podcast, and Happy New Year. It's a bit late, I know, so I'll just say Happy 2025 because that's applicable throughout the year. I hope you're well and your year has got off to a great start. I have just come back from a wonderful digital detox, which for me, I do it every December and into the beginning of January, and I just find it's really good for resetting myself and aligning myself with how I want to feel going into a new year. And that means no social media for business or even for personal. And I don't record podcasts. I literally stay away from anything electronic. And it's great. I do other things, like old-fashioned things like reading a book. Who reads a book anymore? Me in December. That's who. But it was great. I had a different Christmas last year. I spent a lot of it by myself, which I knew was going to be a huge challenge, but I did it. I found it not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I think the worst things for me, if you've got children and you have to have time away from them at Christmas, maybe if they're with the other parent, then you will get this. But it's the first time I've ever been all by myself all day Christmas Eve. And it's the first time I've ever woken up all by myself on Christmas morning. And it was weird. I didn't get upset, which I was surprised about. I did think I was going to be an emotional wreck, but I wasn't. I spent Christmas Eve doing things that I just enjoy doing. I had a day for me, all the things that I love to do. I baked brownies and ate a lot of them. Hey ho, not great for the waistline, great for the mental attitude. And I watched TV, all the things that I like watching. So Christmas Eve was actually not too bad. I'd bought my daughter a Christmas Eve box because we weren't going to be together, so that she had something to open from me on Christmas Eve. And she FaceTimed me to open it with me on FaceTime. And that was lovely. That was the only moment where I really felt that horrible lump in my throat, because I could see that she was feeling it as well. She was worrying about not being with me and worrying about me being on my own. But that soon passed and I was okay. Christmas morning, I would say, was probably the trickiest. I got up and opened the curtains, and I live in a street where you can see, not in a creepy pervy way, but you can see into all the other neighbours' houses, and I could see them all together with their family opening presents. That felt a little bit strange because it was just me and Bumble the dog kind of looking at each other. She has no idea what Christmas is, obviously. I couldn't wait to get to lunchtime when I knew I was going to be with my family. And so I did the most Christmassy thing that I thought I could do. I watched a horror movie. It was Thanksgiving themed, if that makes any difference. But it was really random. And my sister messaged me partway through the morning and said, "Is this the longest morning ever?" Because she's also on her own. And I said, yeah, I'm passing the time watching a Thanksgiving slasher movie. And then it got to lunchtime and I was with my family and my daughter, and we just had the most amazing rest of the day. My sister stayed overnight with me on into Boxing Day, and then I had all the family over again for Boxing Day, so that was lovely. But I did it. It wasn't my most favourite Christmas ever, but I am proud of myself that I was able to get through it with a large element by myself, which I wasn't used to. New Year, I love New Year, but I don't really worry about doing anything. So again, it was just me and Bumble, and I made her cuddle me as the bells tolled to signify New Year. But my daughter also FaceTimed me to see New Year in, so that was lovely too. So yes, different Christmas, but one that I'm proud of. I hope yours was good. I am excited about this next year. I have a feeling in my soul that this is going to be an amazing year. Okay, let's get into this week's question of the week. And actually, this question of the week is one that gave me the idea for the whole episode. So I won't spend too long answering this question of the week, because in theory it's all answered throughout the entire episode. The question of the week is, how do I manifest my best year ever? And I got asked this question quite a lot, so I know it's something that a lot of people are thinking about. My way of looking at it is, don't think about it as the best year ever. Think about it as the best year yet. If you have in your mindset that it's going to be the best year ever, then it almost signifies that that's going to be the end. This is going to be the best year you'll ever have, and every other year after that's going to be shit. I don't want you to think like that. I want every single year to feel like it's the best yet, which means there's still more to come. That sends a signal to your subconscious that there's constantly room for growth, constantly room for more abundance, and constantly room for more exciting things to manifest in your life. So when you're thinking about having a better year, think about it as the best year yet. Now, we can't go into a new year without talking about resolutions. God, do I hate resolutions. I don't believe in them because resolutions are reliant upon willpower. I used to have the same resolution every single year, which was to exercise and look good. I'm thinking like Kardashian type of good. Every single year by the end of January, fail. Why? Well, because I was relying on sheer willpower to make it happen. And actually, by the end of January, this is a true story, I would put on the exercise YouTube thing or the exercise DVD, and I would just sit on the sofa and watch it, not even taking part. That's how little I really put into resolutions. And that's because it's willpower driven. And if you've ever tried to make anything happen through willpower, you'll know that it's exhausting and it's unsustainable, because willpower driven actions force you to push against your current identity and do something that feels alien to your natural way of being. So manifestation, as you know, it's all about alignment. And that's how you should approach resolutions, or as I prefer to call them, intentions. Because resolution reminds me of resolve, which is quite a negative sounding word. It's like you have to do something. Whereas intention is more powerful. So by all means, set yourself New Year intentions, because that feels automatically more achievable. The secret to creating your best year yet is aligning your energy, beliefs and actions with the outcomes that you desire. It's about being the person that lives that life, not trying to force yourself and pigeonhole yourself into it. Because like me, you'll find yourself sitting on the sofa, eating chocolate, just watching people exercising, thinking that's going to change your life, and not even giving two shits that you didn't do it. That's how it gets me by the end of January. So set intentions, but let's start to focus on who you need to be to achieve those intentions, not the actions and trying to force yourself into them. That's what the subject of today's episode is all about. So I am going to give you some of my tips on how to manifest your best year yet. Okay, so The first tip that I have for you on manifesting your best year yet is to reflect on 2024 with gratitude and clarity, even if it was shit. I'm not one for living in the past. I don't think it serves you. I think it impacts the way that you live your life today. But there is room to reflect on the past year. And the way that you reflect on it will determine what you learn from it and how you move forward. What I always do is I reflect on the things that have gone well, the lessons I've learned, and the growth that I've experienced in the past year. And all of it, I find a way to feel grateful for, even the crappy, horrible moments, because I'm a firm believer that you grow through what you go through. You will learn something from every difficult situation. You might learn something about yourself, how strong you are. You're stronger than you thought you were. You might learn that there's something you want to improve about yourself, which is a great insight to have. You might realise that you didn't appreciate the successes that you had in the moment that you had them. So when you can reflect back, you can actually see the year for what it really was. And it's important to have that balanced view. Don't shy away from evaluating the shit stuff, but also don't forget the good stuff. Some questions that you can ask yourself to help you through this exercise. Ask yourself, what am I most proud of from last year? What challenges helped me grow? And how did they make me grow? And what brought me joy and fulfillment? And then what do I want to let go of for this year? Those questions really allow you to look at the past year with the clarity that you need to identify what's going well for you, what is difficult, but what have you learnt? What do you love doing, and what is it time to let go of? The things that you identify for letting go of, attach some habits and beliefs and patterns to those things. So if there's certain things that you don't enjoy anymore, certain things that don't bring you fulfillment, what are your beliefs around those things? It's easy to say, I'm going to, stop eating junk food, or I'm going to stop dating unavailable people. But that brings you back to the willpower driven action. Whereas when you can identify the beliefs that were causing you to do those things, that's what you can then address. And not doing those things becomes then a natural byproduct of changing your beliefs. I would recommend you write this stuff down, pen and paper, because that really helps you to really solidify and let the thoughts flow through naturally and easily. But do this exercise and really whittle down. Do the same for the successes. What were the beliefs that underpinned those actions, the things that you enjoyed doing? Just get crazy writing. Just write all that stuff down. And it really will give you a fair and accurate analysis of the previous year. Okay, your next tip is get clarity on what you want to manifest this year. You might immediately have things that are coming up for you, but I want you to think about them in two different ways. First of all, write down all the things that you want to manifest. Then for each one, I want you to identify whether they are driving desperation-led change or inspiration-led change. Here's the difference. Desperation-led change is because you are running away from something. You are trying to remove something that makes you feel a little bit crap. Inspiration-led change is from a position of abundance. And that's what you want to manifest more of, more abundance. Let me give you an example. So years back, I wanted to manifest more money. I felt really positive about the thought of manifesting more money, and I thought it was a really good intention to have for the new year. But when I actually analysed my why did I want more money? It was because I was so scared of being in debt. I was scared I could lose my house. I was scared I wouldn't be able to pay for things for my daughter. It was desperation-led change that I was trying to attract. That meant that when I was manifesting from the place of desperation and lack and scarcity, which meant I could only manifest more of the same. Fast forward years later, I still have the intention that I want to manifest more abundance financially, but it's for a different reason. My why now has become, I can help my family. And that really brings me the most amount of joy. It doesn't mean that I can't help my family now. I know I absolutely can, but I want to do more for them. Not just for me, but it's a success-driven change. It's an inspired change. It's about just adding the cherry on the cake of the abundance that I already have. It's no longer from that fear of loss, that fear of I'm going to lose everything if I don't have more money. It's more about abundance and success and giving back to other people. And this can be the same with your love life. You could have gone into a year thinking, I want to manifest a relationship this year. But that could have been driven, your why for that could have been driven because you don't want to be lonely, because you don't want to be the only one at the family party with no one sat beside you, with Auntie Nora asking when you're going to settle down and get married. That's desperation-led changes that you're trying to implement. Whereas inspiration-led change, success-driven change, is thinking, I have an amazing life and I want to manifest a partner, because that just adds an extra layer of what I already love about my life. There's the difference. It's the same thing that you're trying to manifest, but the reasoning is different. And you really need to get under the bonnet of why you want the things that you want. You need that clarity on what you want to manifest. So list everything down that you're hoping to achieve this year, but then ask yourself why, the real why. Think of it like an onion. You know how you peel the layers of an onion? Keep asking yourself why. Why do you want that? Why is that important to you? Why is that important to you? Until you can't go anymore. Then you get the real reason. And there will be some things that are inspiration-led change. They are success-driven. And that's amazing because you're already then starting to manifest from the right place. But there will be other things that on the surface you might have felt really positive about, but actually they're desperation-led changes. And that's what needs to change. Your why needs to change to be able to manifest it, because you will only manifest the feelings and beliefs that you have subconsciously. So do that exercise and see what comes up for you. No judgment on yourself at all. Remember, every exercise that I set you or that I give you is giving you something that a lot of people never have the insights around. It can be tough, it can be confronting to know that, oh my God, I'm focusing on something for the wrong reason. Don't look at it like that. Look at it as having that awareness is a hugely powerful and exciting thing, because it means you get to change it. If you've been listening to me for a while, this third tip is not going to surprise you. It's to align your identity with the year that you want. I talk about identity a lot. I should have it tattooed on my forehead, identity, because I do talk about it a lot, but it's because it's the most important thing. You know what went well, what didn't go well. You know what you want to manifest, and more importantly, why you want to manifest it. Next, you have to understand who you need to become to make this year your best yet. So all of those things that you've written down, who do you need to be? What do you need to do differently? What do you need to keep doing that you're already doing to achieve those things? So if one of those things is working out more, the future version of you that has the fitness levels that you want right now, what did they do to achieve that? What were their habits? What were their beliefs? Who are they as people? When you can understand all of that on a deep level, you can then see almost the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. And again, do this with no judgment. If it's around dating, if you really want to be in a relationship this year, who is the person, the version of you that's in the relationship that you want? What do they believe about love? What do they believe about relationships? What actions do they take? This starts to move you away from just this willpower thing. I will have this. I will do this. And it moves you more into the focus of alignment. Alignment with the version of yourself that will give you the things that you want. Take that list that you did in the previous exercise and then start to map out who's the version of you that has that. What do they do? What do they believe? And where are the gaps? Look at that honestly and think, okay, I'm not doing this, or I don't believe this. That will show you what you need to change to be able to get into alignment with the future successful version of you who already has what you want. The next tip I have for you is, once you've got all of this information that you've been writing down, the next step is to break it down into small achievable milestones. Because looking at, if you do have a lot of things that need to be realigned, that can feel quite daunting. You have to break it down into smaller achievable chunks. If you have one huge goal for this year, what are the smaller manageable steps that you can do that will add up to lots of progress over the year? One of my friends wanted to write a book, and she never started because it seemed like too much. When we worked together, we started off with the manageable chunks, which was to outline the chapters. What chapters was she going to have? She knew what the book was about, but we needed to outline the chapters. She then broke that down into a smaller chunk, which was to write X amount of words each week. Within the year, she'd completed her draft. When she thought about the goal as a whole, it just felt too much. But when you start to break things down into smaller milestone habits, then it starts to become and feel more achievable. Always have the end goal in mind, but know that you're taking smaller, manageable steps to get there. Because manifestation accelerates when you have consistent and aligned action. So just ask yourself, what are the small things that I can do that are getting me closer to my goals? Do that for every single thing that you want to manifest, and look at that list of the gaps between your current identity and your future identity, because that will start to give you clues on what you need to focus on. Now, I'm conscious that I've given you a lot of stuff there that I want you to do. I want you to do it, but you don't have to do it. It makes no odds to me whether you do it or not. I hope you do, because the stuff that I share with you in these episodes is the stuff that's worked for me. It's the stuff that's changed my life, and is the stuff that's gone on to change my clients' lives. And I want the same for you. I want you to have your best year yet, but it won't just happen because you hope it will. There are 4 more things that I want to give you to do to help you have your best year yet, but I'm going to share those in the next episode. So for now, focus on the 4 things that I've covered in this episode, and really, really do the work if you want that change in your life in 2025. My intention for this year is to reach more people with this podcast. My ask of you is, if you love it, if you enjoy it, if you get something out of this weekly podcast, sometimes it's not every week, I know, that's another intention to be more regular. But if you do get something out of this, please leave me a review, share it with your friends, anything that you can do to help me get this into more people's ear holes would be great. I would appreciate that massively. And please connect with me on social media. You can find me on all platforms. My name on there is The Manifesting Mindset. I would love to hear how your 2025 planning is going. And of course, you can hit reply and you can text the show. The link to do that is in the show notes.
So that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed listening, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe and leave a review, because it really does help me to reach more people. I've left some links in the show notes so you can connect with me, or you can grab one of my manifesting resources. Until next week, sending you lots of love, light, and manifesting vibes.